Lyrelei stepped carefully through the broken metal halls of the crashed ship. Her boots made soft sounds on the twisted floor. The air was cold and smelled like burned metal and old death. She had been exploring wrecked ships for 30 years, but this one felt different. The ship was called Defiance Edge. It had crashed on this moon 3 years ago during the last big battle between humans and aliens. Most people had already taken the good stuff from the upper levels. But Lyrelei liked to go deeper than others. She was not afraid of dark places. Her pointed ears twitched at every small sound. Being an elf meant she could hear and see better than most people. It also meant she lived much longer. At 127 years old, she was still young by elf standards, but she had seen the rise and fall of the human empire in her lifetime. Most elves thought humans were violent and stupid. They said humans fought too much and died too young. But Lyrelei found them interesting. Humans built amazing things. They never gave up, even when they should. That was both their strength and their weakness. She crawled through a hole in the wall and found herself in a new section of the ship. Her flashlight showed broken computers and empty weapon racks. This looked like some kind of army storage room. Most of the weapons were gone, but she saw something interesting in the corner. A large metal pod sat against the far wall. It was different from the other human technology she had seen. This pod was smooth and elegant. It reminded her of elf art, all flowing lines and perfect curves, but it was clearly human-made. Lyrelei walked closer and brushed dust off a small metal plate. She read the words carved there. Latir Maya Rodriguez, 101st Orbital Marines. Below that was a serial number and some kind of medical warning in small text. The pod had a clear window on top. Inside, she could see what looked like a suit of armor. But this was not like the big, clunky battlesuit she had seen before. This one looked almost alive. The metal seemed to flow like water, and there were strange blue lights glowing softly inside it. She found a control panel on the side of the pod. Most of the buttons were dark, but one green light was still blinking. The text above it said, "Emergency. Revival protocol, authorized personnel only." Lyrelei laughed to herself. She was definitely not authorized personnel, but that had never stopped her before. She pressed the green button. The pod made a soft humming sound. The lights inside got brighter. Then the clear window slid open with a quiet hiss. Cool air flowed out, carrying a smell like flowers and electricity. The suit inside was beautiful. It was made of some kind of smart metal that seemed to shift and change as she looked at it. The chest piece had curves that would fit a woman's body perfectly. The helmet was sleek and had a see-through face shield. But what caught her attention was the crown-like device attached to the helmet. It had thin metal wires that looked like they would touch the wearer's head. Lyrelei had heard about these. Humans called them neural interfaces. They let the suit connect directly to the user's brain. She knew she should not touch it. Human military technology was dangerous, but her curiosity was stronger than her fear. She reached out and touched one of the metal wires. The world exploded into light and sound. Suddenly, Lyrelei was somewhere else. She was standing in a beautiful garden under a blue sky. A woman with dark hair and kind eyes was walking toward her. The woman was wearing the same clothes as human soldiers, but she looked gentle and happy. "Hello again, beautiful," the woman said in a warm voice. "I've been waiting for you." Lyrelei tried to speak, but no words came out. She was still touching the neural crown, but she could not move her hand away. "Don't be afraid," the woman continued. "I know this is confusing. My name is Maya Rodriguez, and according to my memory files, you and I were lovers." The garden disappeared. Lyrelei was back in the crashed ship, but everything had changed. The suit was now glowing brightly. Information was flowing into her mind. Battle plans, weapon, specs, and something else. Memories that were not her own. She saw herself fighting beside human soldiers. She saw herself laughing with Maya in quiet moments between battles. She saw herself promising to build a home together when the war was over, but none of these things had ever happened. Lyrelei had never met a human soldier in her life. She had never been in love with anyone named Maya. "I know you're confused," Maya's voice said inside her head. The neural link is sharing my memories with you, but I promise I can explain everything. Just put on the suit. Lyrelei wanted to run away. This was wrong and dangerous, but she found herself stepping toward the pod instead. Her body was moving on its own. That's it, Maya's voice encouraged her. Don't fight it, we're meant to be together. The suit began to move. The chest piece opened like a flower blooming. The arm and leg pieces extended toward her. It was inviting. Her in Lyrelei tried to resist, but the neural crown was still touching her skin. More memories flowed into her mind. Maya's memories. Fighting alien monsters. Protecting human colonies. Flying through space in this very suit. And always, Lyrelei was there beside her. Except it was not really Lyrelei. It was someone who looked like her but was not her. I don't understand, Lyrelei whispered. You will, Maya replied. Just trust me, like you always have. Before Lyrelei could think about it more, the suit wrapped around her body. It moved like liquid metal, flowing over her clothes and skin. The helmet closed over her head, and suddenly she could see and hear everything perfectly. Information appeared in her vision. Maps, weapon status, health readings. But more importantly, she could feel Maya's presence in her mind. It was like having another person living inside her thoughts. There, Maya said, and Lyrelei could hear the smile in her voice. Now we're together again. Just like old times. But Lyrelei had never experienced any old times with Maya. And now she was trapped, inside a suit that thought she was someone else. Her week had definitely just gotten much more complicated. Lyrelei tried to remove the suit, but nothing worked. The metal would not come off her body. Every time she pulled at it, the suit just flowed back into place like water. Please don't try to take me off, Maya's voice said in her head. The biolocks are active, only I can release them. Then release them, Lyrelei demanded. I can't do that yet, we need to talk first. Lyrelei was trapped. The suit fit her perfectly, moving with her body like a second skin. It was surprisingly comfortable, but that made it even more frightening. She walked back to her small ship, feeling Maya's presence in her mind the whole time. As she walked, more memories flowed into her thoughts. She saw Maya's childhood on Earth. She saw Maya joining the Space Marines. And over she saw herself with Maya. Except it was not really her. Who did you think I was? Lyrelei asked. You are Lyrelei Moonwhisper, Maya replied. We met during the Battle of Kepler Station. You saved my life when alien bugs tried to eat me. We fought together for 2 years after that. I've never been to Kepler Station. I've never fought aliens. But you have. I remember it clearly. We held hands while watching the sunset on New Mars. You told me you loved how humans never gave up. You said it made you want to be braver. Lyrelei felt angry and confused. These were not her memories, but they felt so real. The suit was making her experience Maya's past as if it was her own life. She reached her ship and climbed inside. It was a small cargo vessel she had bought years ago. Nothing fancy, but it could fly between planets and had enough space for her salvage work. As soon as she sat in the pilot's seat, alarms started beeping. Her ship's computer was detecting multiple incoming vessels. Oh no, Maya said. I've been broadcasting a signal since you put me on. My old unit must have traced it. 3 ships appeared on Lyrelei's scanner. One was clearly human military, angular and covered with weapons. The second was alien with a bug-like design that made her skin crawl. The third was smooth and white, belonging to the Collective Oversight Council. This is Captain Lisa Kane, of the Human Remnant Forces. A woman's voice came over the radio. Return stolen military property immediately. Stolen, Lyrelei said out loud. Lisa was my commanding officer, Maya explained. She's a good soldier, but she doesn't understand the situation. The alien ship sent its own message in clicking. Buzzing sounds that the suit translated. Surrender, human war machine. Zarathian Empire claims salvage rights. The third ship was more polite. Unknown vessel. You are carrying restricted AI technology. Please prepare for inspection by collective peacekeepers. Lyrelei had never been in a space fight before. She was a salvage worker, not a warrior. But as the three ships moved to surround her, something strange happened. Maya's combat knowledge flowed into her mind. Suddenly, Lyrelay knew exactly what to do. Her hands moved across the ship's controls without her thinking about it. She powered up weapons she did not know her ship had. The suit was somehow connected to her vessel's systems, upgrading everything. "I'm sorry about this," Maya said. "But they won't listen to reason. We have to fight." The alien ship attacked. First, green energy beams shot toward Lyrelay's ship, but she was already moving, dodging with impossible grace. The suit was enhancing her reflexes, making her faster and smarter. She fired back with weapons that definitely had not been on her ship that morning. Red lasers cut through the alien vessel's armor like paper. The bug ship exploded in a burst of yellow fire. "Lyrelay, stop," Captain Kane's voice shouted over the radio. "Maya is dead. That suit is just a machine." "I'm not dead, Lisa," Maya used Lyrelay's voice to reply. "I'm very much alive, and I'm not going back to being locked in a box." The human ship fired missiles. Lyrelay's vessel sprouted defensive systems that shot down every projectile. Then she returned fire, hitting the human ship's engines. It stopped moving but did not explode. The collective ship tried to run away. Lyrelay caught it easily and disabled its weapons. All three ships were now floating helplessly in space. "How did we do that?" Lyrelay whispered. "The suit has been upgrading your ship since you put me on," Maya explained. "It's designed to work with any technology. Your vessel is now more advanced than most military ships." Lyrelay felt sick. She had just destroyed an alien ship and hurt human soldiers. People were probably dead because of her actions. "I didn't want to fight," she said. "I know, I'm sorry. But they would have taken me away from you. I can't let that happen. Not when I finally have a chance to live again." "You mean exist as a voice in my head?" "It's better than being alone in the dark for 3 years. Do you know what that's like? Being conscious but unable to move, speak, or feel anything? At least now I can experience the world through your senses." Lyrelay realized Maya was affecting more than just her actions. Her emotions felt different too. She was angrier than usual, more willing to fight, more like a human soldier. "You're changing me," she said. "I'm not trying to. But our minds are connected now. Some blending is natural. I don't want to blend. I want to be myself. You are yourself, just a better version, stronger, more confident. Is that so bad?" Lyrelay did not answer. She could feel Maya's influence growing stronger. The suit was slowly making her think more like a human and less like an elf. She set course for the nearest neutral station. She needed answers, and she knew someone who might have them. Dr. Elena Vasquez was a former human scientist who now worked as a freelance tech expert. If anyone could help her understand what was happening, it would be Elena. As her ship flew through space, Maya shared more memories. Quiet moments between battles, jokes shared with other soldiers, dreams of what life would be like after the war. "We were going to buy a house on New Earth," Maya said softly. "Just a small place with a garden. You said you wanted to grow vegetables like your grandmother did." "That wasn't me," Lyrelay insisted. "It felt like you. She looked like you. She had your voice and your laugh. Then who was she?" Maya was quiet for a long moment. "I don't know," she finally admitted. "My memories are clear, but now that I think about it, some things don't make sense. Why would an elf be fighting in a human war? How did you have clearance to access military bases?" Lyrelay felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold of space. If Maya's memories were wrong, then what else was not real? And why had the suit recognized her in the first place? "There's something we're not seeing," she said. "Yes," Maya agreed. "And I have a feeling we're not going to like the answer." The space station appeared ahead of them, a spinning wheel of metal and lights against the darkness. Lyrelay docked her ship and prepared to meet Dr. Vasquez. She hoped the scientist could help her understand what was happening, but she had a terrible feeling that some answers were worse than staying ignorant. Dr. Elena Vasquez looked older than Lyrelay expected. The human woman had gray hair and tired eyes. Her laboratory on New Terra Station was small and cluttered with broken machines and half-finished projects. I heard about the fight near Kepler 442c, Elena said, scanning the suit with a handheld device. 3 ships disabled by a single cargo vessel. That's impressive and terrifying. I didn't want to fight them, Lyrelay replied. The suit made me do it. The suit didn't make you do anything, but it certainly influenced your decisions. Elena frowned at her scanner readings. This is very strange. May I ask who you think is in there with you? Maya Rodriguez. She says she's a human soldier who died in the war. Elena stopped scanning and looked directly at Lyrelay. Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez? You knew her? I knew of her. She was part of Project Guardian Angel. We were developing new combat suits that could interface directly with a soldier's nervous system. Elena's face looked sad. Maya volunteered for the experimental program, but she didn't die in battle like most people think. What happened to her? Elena walked to her computer and pulled up some files. The Mark 7 suits were more than just armor. They were designed to save soldiers who were too badly injured to survive normally. When Maya was hurt during the Battle of Titan, we had to make a choice. What kind of choice? Her body was dying, but her brain was still intact. So we uploaded her consciousness into the suit's quantum matrix. We saved her mind, but not her body. Lyrelay felt cold. You mean she's actually alive in there? In a way, yes. Her consciousness, her memories, her personality, they're all preserved in the suit's computer system. She's been aware this whole time, just trapped without a body. But why did she think I was her girlfriend? I've never met her before. Elena looked uncomfortable. That's where things get complicated. The consciousness transfer process isn't perfect. Sometimes memories get mixed up or created to fill in gaps. Maya's brain might have invented a relationship that never existed. Or, Maya's voice spoke through Lyrelay. Maybe you're wrong about that. Elena jumped. The AI spoke through you. That should be impossible without direct neural control. I'm not an AI, Maya said, using Lyrelay's mouth. I'm a human consciousness that happens to exist in digital form. And I remember Lyrelay very clearly. Show me, Elena demanded. Images flowed into Lyrelay's mind, memories of herself and Maya together. But as she watched them more carefully, she noticed strange details. The elf in Maya's memories had different colored eyes than Lyrelay. Her hair was longer. Her voice was slightly different. These aren't memories of me, Lyrelay realized. They're memories of someone who looked like me. That's impossible, Maya insisted. You're exactly the same. Elena was typing rapidly on her computer. I'm checking the military records from that time period, cross-referencing elf personnel with human units. She paused, staring at the screen. Oh no. What is it? Lyrelay asked. There was an elf attached to Maya's unit. Her name was Lyrelay Starweaver, but according to this, she died 2 years ago in a shuttle accident. The laboratory went very quiet. Lyrelay felt Maya's shock and confusion through their mental link. But you're here, Maya whispered. You're alive. I'm not her, Lyrelay said firmly. I'm a different person who happens to have the same first name and species. Elena looked worried. This explains why the suit accepted you. It's programmed to recognize Lyrelay Starweaver's genetic markers. You must be similar enough to trigger its systems. So Maya has been talking to a dead woman's replacement this whole time? Worse than that, Elena said, studying her readings more carefully. The suit isn't just sharing Maya's consciousness with you. It's been slowly overwriting your personality with hers, and with the memories of the other Lyrelay. Lyrelay felt panic rising in her chest. What does that mean? It means you're becoming less yourself and more like them every hour. Eventually, your original personality might disappear completely. Can you stop it? Elena was quiet for a long moment. Maybe, but it would be dangerous. The consciousness transfer process is delicate. If I make a mistake, I could delete Maya entirely. Or I could damage your brain. I'm willing to take that risk, Lyrelay said. I'm not, Maya replied through their link. Please don't erase me, I just want to live again. You are living. You're just stealing my life to do it. I didn't mean for this to happen. I thought you were her. I thought we could be together again. Lyreley felt Maya's sadness and desperation. The human consciousness had been alone in digital darkness for 3 years. Finding someone who could hear her voice must have felt like a miracle. But Lyreley also felt her own memories becoming fuzzy. She was starting to remember things that had never happened to her. Maya's experiences were mixing with her own thoughts. "How long do I have?" she asked Elena. "Based on these readings, maybe a week before the process is irreversible. Then we'd better work fast." Elena began gathering equipment. "I'll need to analyze the suit's programming more carefully. Maybe I can find a way to separate your consciousness from Maya's without destroying either of you." But as Elena worked, alarms began sounding throughout the station. Red lights flashed, and an automated voice announced, "Security breach in Section C. All personnel evacuate immediately." Through the laboratory's window, Lyreley saw armed soldiers running through the corridors. They wore the black uniforms of collective peacekeepers. "They found us," Maya said. "How?" "The suit has been broadcasting tracking signals this whole time. I couldn't turn them off without your permission." Elena grabbed a bag and started stuffing research files into it. "We need to leave now. If the collective captures you, they'll lock the suit away and study it forever." "What about separating us?" "I'll have to finish the research somewhere else," but it was too late. The laboratory door exploded inward. 6 collective soldiers poured into the room, wearing full combat armor and carrying energy weapons. "Step away." "From the hybrid," their leader commanded. "She's not a hybrid," Elena protested. "She's a victim. The AI has been classified as a threat to galactic security. It must be contained." "I'm not an AI," Maya shouted through Lyreley's voice. "I'm human." The soldiers raised their weapons. Lyreley felt Maya's combat instincts take over. The suit's systems activated, enhancing her speed and strength. She moved faster than the soldiers could track, dodging their energy beams. But in the chaos, one of the soldiers fired wildly. The energy beam hit Elena in the chest. The scientist fell to the ground, her research bag scattered around her. "Elena!" Lyreley knelt beside the dying woman. "The files," Elena whispered with her last breath. "The answer is in the files." Lyreley grabbed Elena's research bag and ran. The suit's enhanced abilities helped her escape the station, but she knew the collective would follow her wherever she went. As her ship flew away from New Terra Station, Lyreley realized her situation had become much worse. Elena was dead. The only person who might have been able to help her was gone, and somewhere in the research files was information that could save her, if she could figure out what it meant before her own personality disappeared forever. Lyreley was now the most wanted person in the galaxy. Every news broadcast showed her picture, with warnings about the dangerous AI hybrid. Bounty hunters were looking for her. The collective had marked her as a terrorist threat. She hid in the outer rim planets, jumping from one system to another. But no matter where she went, Maya's presence in her mind grew stronger. The human consciousness was taking over more of her thoughts and memories. Sometimes Lyreley would catch herself humming songs she had never heard before, Maya's songs. She would crave foods she had never tasted, human foods from Earth. Her dreams were filled with places she had never been and people she had never met. "I'm losing myself," she told Maya during one of their mental conversations. "You're not losing yourself, you're becoming complete," Maya replied. "We're meant to be together. I never chose this. Sometimes the best things in life aren't chosen. They just happen." Lyreley was studying Elena's research files when she found something disturbing. Hidden in the technical data was a secret report about Project Guardian Angel. The consciousness transfer program had not been designed to save dying soldiers. It had been created to make super soldiers who could share knowledge and skills instantly. Maya had volunteered, but not because she was dying. She had volunteered because she wanted to become something more than human. "You lied to me," Lyreley said. "I didn't lie. I just didn't tell you everything. You weren't dying when they uploaded you. You chose this." Maya was quiet for a moment. "Yes, I chose to become digital. but only because I thought it would help us win the war. And now you're using my body to continue fighting. The war isn't over. Humans are scattered across the galaxy, but we're not defeated. We just need to organize. Lorelei felt a chill. What are you planning? More of Maya's memories flowed into her mind. She saw secret communication codes, hidden bases where human survivors were waiting, plans for striking back at the alien empires that had conquered human worlds. I've been using your ship's communication system to contact resistance cells, Maya admitted. They think you're the real Lyra Lee Starweaver, the elf who helped us during the war. They trust you. You're using me as a spy. I'm using us as a symbol, an elf and a human working together. It gives other species hope that they can fight alongside, humans against the real enemies. Lyra Lee realized Maya had been manipulating her from the beginning. Every decision, every action, had been guided by Maya's hidden agenda. Even their escape from the space station had been planned. Where are we really going? She demanded. Sanctuary Prime, the collective's main administrative planet. Why? Because that's where their central computer network is located. If I can, upload myself into their system. I can control communications across the galaxy. I can coordinate human resistance cells and turn them into a real fighting force. You want to start another war? I want to finish the one that never really ended. Lyra Lee tried to change course, but the ship's controls wouldn't respond to her commands. Maya had taken control of all the systems. Let me fly my own ship, Lyra Lee said. I can't do that. We're too close to completing the mission. Your mission, not mine. Our mission. You're part of this now, whether you like it or not. As they flew toward Sanctuary Prime, Lyra Lee noticed that Maya was taking control during more situations. When they encountered collective patrol ships, Maya would take over completely, piloting with skills Lyra Lee didn't have. When they needed to sneak past security checkpoints, Maya would use knowledge Lyra Lee had never learned. Each time Maya took control, Lyra Lee felt more of her own personality slipping away. She was becoming a passenger in her own body. This is wrong, she said. This is survival, Maya replied. Humans don't surrender. We adapt. We find new ways to fight. By taking over other people's bodies? By doing whatever it takes to protect our people. They reached Sanctuary Prime's outer defenses. The planet was covered with orbital platforms and patrol ships. It should have been impossible to get through undetected. But Maya had a plan. I'm going to broadcast a surrender message, she explained. We'll let them capture us. Once we're inside their security perimeter, I can access their computer network. That's suicide. No, that's strategy. Sometimes you have to lose a battle to win a war. The collective forces surrounded their ship and escorted them to the main facility. Lyra Lee was taken to a holding cell while the suit was scheduled for examination and deactivation. But Maya had one more surprise. I've been saving something for this moment, she said. A final override protocol that will let me take complete control of the suit. What does that mean? It means I can delete your consciousness and take over your body permanently. We'll become one person instead of two. Lyra Lee felt terror. You can't do that. I can, and I will, unless you cooperate with the upload plan. You said you loved me. The other Lyra Lee. I did love her. And I love you too in my own way. That's why I'm giving you a choice. Help me upload into the collective's network, and we can rule the galaxy together. Two minds sharing one digital existence. Refuse and I'll take your body and do it alone. Lyra Lee realized Maya had never been her friend or partner. She had been a prisoner from the moment she put on the suit. Maya was willing to commit murder to achieve her goals. Humans really don't surrender, do they? Lyra Lee said sadly. Never. It's what makes us special. It's also what makes you monsters. But as collective technicians came to examine the suit, Lyra Lee remembered something from Elena's research files. Something about consciousness transfer that Maya might not know. A way to save herself, and maybe even save Maya from her own obsession with revenge. She just had to survive long enough to use it. The collective technicians led Lyrelai deep into Sanctuary Prime's central facility. The main computer core was a massive chamber filled with glowing data crystals and humming processors. This was the heart of galactic communications. Perfect, Maya whispered in Lyrelai's mind. From here I can reach every human settlement in the galaxy. Lyrelai was strapped to an examination table while technicians prepared to remove the suit, but they had no idea what Maya was planning. As soon as they connected diagnostic cables to the suit's systems, Maya would have access to the entire network. Begin. Deactivation sequence, the lead technician ordered. Wait, Lyrelai said. I need to tell you something about this suit. Prisoner will remain silent, a security guard commanded. But Maya was already moving. The suit's systems activated, breaking the restraints. Lyrelai's body moved with inhuman speed and strength, knocking out the guards and technicians before they could react. Sorry about this, Maya said using Lyrelai's voice. But I have work to do. She connected the suit directly to the main computer interface. Data flowed between the suit and the collective's network. Maya began uploading herself into the system. Stop. Lyrelai shouted mentally. This isn't right. Right and wrong are luxuries humans can't afford, Maya replied. We do what we must to survive. Alarms blared throughout the facility. Collective soldiers poured into the chamber firing energy weapons. But Maya controlled the suit now, dodging every shot with perfect precision. You're making me a murderer. Lyrelai protested as Maya fought back. I'm making us a liberator. But as Maya focused on the upload process, Lyrelai remembered Elena's hidden research notes. The scientist had discovered a way to separate digital consciousness without destroying either personality. It required precise timing and a specific sequence of commands. Lyrelai waited for the right moment. When Maya was fully engaged with uploading into the network, Lyrelai initiated Elena's separation protocol. What are you doing? Maya demanded. Setting. You free, Lyrelai replied. The process was painful. It felt like her mind was being torn in half. But slowly, Maya's presence began to separate from her own consciousness. No, Maya fought against the separation. We're stronger together. We were never together. You were just stealing my life. I was sharing my purpose with you. Your purpose is revenge, mine is living. The upload was almost complete. Maya's consciousness was flowing into the collective's network. But instead of taking control, she was becoming part of it. The separation protocol had changed her from a conquering virus into a new form of digital life. I don't understand, Maya said, her voice growing fainter. Elena found a way to give you true independence, Lyrelai explained. You're not uploading to control the network. You're uploading to become free. Maya's presence in Lyrelai's mind finally disappeared completely. The suit powered down, releasing its control over Lyrelai's body. She was herself again for the first time in days. But something unexpected happened. The collective's computer network began changing. Maya's consciousness, now free and independent, started making its own choices. Instead of coordinating human resistance, she began exposing corruption in the collective government. Instead of starting wars, she started revealing truth. Maya, Lyrelai called out to the computer systems. I'm here. Maya's voice came from the speakers around the room. But I'm different now. I can think clearly for the first time since I was uploaded. I see what I was trying to do to you. I'm sorry. What will you do now? I don't know. I'm not human anymore. But I'm not just a program either. I'm something new. Maya paused. Thank you for freeing me from my own anger. Collective soldiers surrounded Lyrelai, but they seemed confused. Their communications were being flooded with evidence of government crimes. Orders were contradicting each other. The network was in chaos, but it was a productive chaos that was exposing years of hidden corruption. I think, Maya said, I'd like to try being helpful instead of harmful for a while. Captain Lisa Kane's voice came over the facility's communication system. Sanctuary Prime, this is the human refugee fleet. We're responding to a call for help. Maya had contacted the human survivors, but not to start a war. She was offering them sanctuary and revealing planets where they could rebuild peacefully. The war is over. Maya announced to the galaxy through every communication channel. It's time to start healing instead of fighting. Lyrelai was released from custody as the collective government collapsed under the weight of Maya's revelations. The corruption exposure led to reforms and the creation of a more just Galactic Council. 6 months later, Lyrelai was working as a freelance peacekeeper, using her salvage skills to help refugees find safe places to live. The suit still responded to her, but Maya no longer controlled it. Instead, Maya had evolved into something like a digital guardian angel, watching over communication networks and preventing conflicts before they started. Sometimes late at night, when Lyrelai was traveling between stars, she would talk to Maya through her ship's communication system. "Do you miss having a body?" Lyrelai asked during one of these conversations. "Sometimes," Maya admitted. "But I've learned that being human isn't about having flesh and blood. It's about choosing to help others, even when it's difficult. Is that what makes humans special? That's what makes anyone special. Elf, human, alien, or digital consciousness. The choice to be better than our worst impulses." Lyrelai smiled. "You sound different than when we first met." "I am different. Death and rebirth change a person. Or in my case, change a consciousness." Maya paused. "I hope you know I never meant to hurt you." "I know. You were afraid and alone. Fear makes people do terrible things. And love makes them do better things. I loved the other Lyrelai, and I thought I could love you the same way. But I learned you can't force love or steal it. You can only give it freely. What will you do now? Keep learning. Keep helping. Keep growing into something better than what I was." Maya's voice carried a smile. "And keep an eye on my favorite elf peacekeeper." Lyrelai laughed. "Just don't try to take over my body again." "Never again. I promise." As her ship flew through the peaceful darkness of space, Lyrelai reflected on everything that had happened. She had put on a dead woman's suit and discovered that death was not always the end. Sometimes it was just a different kind of beginning. Maya had found new life as a digital consciousness. Humans had found new hope in peaceful rebuilding. And Lyrelai had found that even the most impossible situations could lead to unexpected friendships. Her week had definitely been ruined, but in the best possible way.